Hey, what's up? It is a Tuesday. I'm Dominic D'Angelo of Rumor and Innuendo, and it is of adfreeshows.com. I'm of scoops.com and brassringmedia.com. Check it out. But I am back with Mr. Robert Karpelis, WWE Creative _ish. We got some WWE Clash in Paris to talk about. We got some Raw to talk about. We got some maybe Rock in the movies to talk about. A little bit more. Robert, how are you today?
It has been a minute, Dom. It's great to be back here with you all. And yeah, I've had some fun Wi-Fi issues on Friday, so I wasn't able to join, which is always a treat. Getting blasted back to the Stone Age. So all I could do was just yell angrily at my dog about Dynamite booking.
Well,
And even he was like, "Dude, leave me alone."
But get out of here.
Real
quick, Robert, what are your thoughts on the Dynamite from last week? We didn't get your perspective on it.
Dynamite last week was like a year ago.
No, isn't
it was in that building.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's it was in that building, and that's good. But there's like 30 things we got to talk about. So say hi to some of the folks joining us here. E says, "What's up?" Shocking. Dre Owens says, "Hello, RNI. AJ Lee versus Becky at WrestlePalooza, starting 1 hour before All Out." He's calling it now. We shall see. But she didn't even work here. Jeff Henninger says, "Buongiorno, RNI." Well, bonjour, you cheese-eating surrender monkey. And Wrestling Old Head says, "Welcome back, you guys. Interested in what your match of the night for Clash in Paris will be? Cena, Paul played all the hits." Yeah. This was a wrestling weekend for me, Dom.
Yes, you had Boca Raton going on too.
You had the Boca Raton Championship Wrestling. So I'm gonna talk about it in more detail on Working Stiff, because it's worth getting into. It was the first show that I really had a chance to kind of write and map out on my own in quite some time, and I had so much fun getting a chance to do that. It was an absolute blast. Once the cleaned up, edited version of the show is available, I will plug it online. But one of the most rewarding parts of all of this, and there were a lot, and it was great. My kids got to go to their first wrestling show. It was an absolute blast. I'm not going to get anybody in trouble. An individual did come up to me who works for, we'll call it one of the big two promotions, since one of the other promotions kind of hangs out.
NWA.
Close. And said, "I really appreciate it. I sat and listened to you in your production meeting. And I love that even the stuff that I didn't think was going to make sense, once you talk through it, everything in the show made complete sense. And I have not had that at the location with which I am currently working."
Wow.
If we could be any vaguer, we could. But that's, I would say high praise, but I've seen what that individual has churned out. So it's kind of a low bar. But hey, we have Clash in Paris and Raw to talk about. And I can still hear the crowd echoing in my ears.
They were loud. Holy smokes, what a crowd. Paris was all ready for this wrestling weekend. And some ways I think WWE delivered. In some ways, I think they just stayed part of the course too. But let's get your quick thoughts. What do you think about Clash at the Paris? What were your big takeaways from this?
So if you listen to Working Stiff this past week, myself and Scott Chaplin did a preview of Clash in Paris. I feel bad that I kind of ruined the show for everybody. When I said, well, my guess is the show is probably going to open with Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns, and they're going to destroy Roman Reigns, and Jey Uso is going to get involved, and he's going to wind up getting hurt in such a way where he's wounded and injured going into the main event, and that's going to play a factor into him not being involved. And then they were like, great, let's just do that. I also had said I was pretty sure Nikki Bella and Becky Lynch was going to die a death, and R.I.P. to that crowd who watched that show.
I like the finish of the match, though. The finish.
I like that it finished. I definitely liked that match ended. Did you see what Kevin Nash said, by the way, about Becky?
Yes, I did.
So I'll let you kind of.
Yeah, well, I think
I keep forgetting, guys. Dominic D'Angelo, in addition to the show and working stiff, has his hands in so many wrestlers. Wait,
oh boy.
no. See, that could have been the Blue Chew, Reed.
Uh-oh.
Not doing it. We're not doing
Not
it.
doing it. We'll
Yep.
stay away. We'll stay away for now. But look, yeah, I mean, like Becky obviously made the comments about Ozzy Osbourne. Kev thought a certain way about it, like that she was grasping at straws, that she kind of is maybe heading into irrelevancy. But I think Becky's pretty hot right now. And I also think the aspect too, I don't think what she said, and Kev agreed with this too, that like what she said wasn't that big of a deal, I don't think. But when the daughter comes after it and you think about the timeliness of it all, it paints a bad perspective for WWE as a company. I think when stuff like that, when you get that crossover, I don't think that's good publicity necessarily. But what she said, I don't think was that bad, Robert.
It's like, I'm stumbling over the words a little bit just because I feel like you can't tell someone how to grieve or how to grieve properly or how you're going to feel in that situation. So I can be completely sympathetic to someone, this woman just lost her father and is now taking something in such a way. However, given Ozzy's longtime association with the WWE, with pro wrestling and the dang Hall of Fame, I think that there was a spirit to what it is that they were trying to say.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, that's the nature of the wrestling business in certain ways. He's a public figure. He's a big time celebrity. She didn't take a vicious, she actually was like supportive of Ozzy in general, just trashed Birmingham in turn with it all. So in the tone and context of it all. But Robert, what was your huge takeaways from Clash in Paris? And did you think, the ending was good, and we'll lead into Raw then, I guess.
Yeah. So we had said going into this that this was sort of a fairly lame duck show, and that nothing of any major consequence or importance was going to happen. We didn't expect any sort of big, massive headlines, and I think that the SmackDown before gave them what they like to do in Europe, which is we want to give you a title change while we're there. So you had that title change of Sami Zayn beating Solo, which I didn't love that decision, but they did it. I didn't love it because I thought Solo had more momentum, and I thought there was a lot more you could do with him as United States champion. Sammy as United States champion feels a little bit like I really hope they have a plan. Right. But 6 matches on the show, good number. Roman and Bronson, Roman did everything he could to make Bronson Reed look strong in this match. And I appreciated that. We'd said it before, just in the way he talked his promos. He could have eaten this guy up, metaphorically, not literally. But the way in which the match was vicious, it was physical. Roman got a win, but it felt like it was a win that he earned, elevated Bronson Reed nicely. And then the post-match attack was, like we said, in such a way to eliminate Roman Reigns off TV for a little while, eliminate Paul Heyman with a reason that wound up being sort of revealed later on in the show, and then injuring Jey Uso in such a way that he had an excuse for his performance in the World Heavyweight title match. So to me, that was very successful. The Wyatt Six retaining over the Street Profits, I get what they're doing. I get that we're trying to drive this wedge between Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, that the actions of Bray Wyatt getting in his head are going to do that. This hews very closely to what Karrion Kross was doing. So it does kind of feel like, did they just, graft one storyline onto another person? The match itself was okay. It felt very late era WCW, where I felt like there was one team that was really working hard, another team that just seemed kind of out of place and didn't belong there. And it almost would have been like, putting like Harlem Heat against above average Mike Sanders and Chuck Palumbo.
Oh,
and, we all know how great above average Mike Sanders and Chuck Palumbo are. And those bums, the Harlem Heat. But
yeah, those dang bumps, the Harlem Heat. I know this is kind of maybe a little sidetrack. What is the most compelling product right now for WWE? Would you say it's SmackDown or would you say it's Raw? Well, considering the tag division, I guess I'm thinking of, and the differences that they kind of have with one another.
I mean, it moves back and forth depending on the week. I think that both shows have something with which to talk about and do. SmackDown's been in sort of a holding pattern with Cody Rhodes being on the shelf. The tag division is fun. I did like the Sammy and Solo stuff, but it felt very sort of placeholder mid card kind of thing. The Tiffany Stratton Jade Cargill feud feels like we have to do it, but we really don't want to do it. And then, you had John Cena and Logan Paul. What did you think of John Cena and Logan Paul, by the way?
I mean, I just like the star power of it all. I think it's appropriate. I think it would have felt more appropriate if John Cena was a babyface this whole time. I think a big exception that people take with Logan Paul being a part of John Cena's farewell tour is we don't have that much time with Cena. And so we're going to use Logan Paul in this. And I liked it. I like the aspect too that Cena's paying homage to people using their finishing moves and stuff like that. If implying that he won't have a match with them on his farewell tour. And, Logan Paul is such a big star. I think he's a great, great heel. It was funny, Robert, I'm sure you noticed this, but he did the buckshot lariat and then MJF had a little comment on it. I don't think MJF would have tweeted that out if the buckshot was really, really good looking, but Logan Paul's buckshot was not as compelling as Hangman.
So Logan's done it better before.
Yes, he has.
There is that sort of that world where Logan Paul isn't a wrestler, but he sort of is, and he's been doing this for a while, and it's very hard to figure out what prism to actually look at him through. I think that him and Cena put on an entertaining match, not a great match, not a match people are going to be like, we're going to throw a whole bunch of 5 stars at it. It's sort of a lesser match in the John Cena retirement realm. But the idea was John was going to make this guy work hard. He was going to try to put on the best Logan Paul match. And Logan usually gives you 1 or 2 spotlight moments. And I think you did get a few of them. It was by no means an embarrassing match.
No.
It wasn't like the greatest match ever. And that crowd loved every minute of it. Cena got to do a lot of the greatest hits of a lot of great wrestlers in Baron Corbin, and it was good stuff. I thought Rusev and Sheamus understood their assignment of we're just going to have you do Regal Finley and just beat the hell out of one another and dive off barrels and use shillelaghs, and it was full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. And in the main event, the right guy went over with the right finish.
No, I love the finish. I loved the aspect too. It was like a reference back to when Punk fought Moxley in AEW, the double GTS, almost like Seth falls into place. We almost got it, but then Becky interfered. And so,
and that's the thing. You managed to move Paul out of the way temporarily in such a way that it wasn't obvious. And this notion of we're taking everything away from Seth Rollins. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker been thrown out of the building. Paul Heyman's in the hospital. Rollins stalled by himself in a no DQ match. What's going to happen? Oh, we're finally going to marry Becky to this Vision group.
I think it's great. I think it was appropriately timed. I thought it was getting to be long overdue, but I'm happy the way they executed it and made Clash in Paris feel like a bigger deal. I think at the end of the show, a Becky Alliance, so it's a big moment in the angle. So. Yeah, let's get to Raw, though. We starting off there, Robert, with you don't mess with Jey Uso's family. And it happened to be LA Knight comes on out, and then Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed come on out, sets up the tag match for later on.
It didn't make any sense.
It was very confusing.
Here's the thing. There was a lot in this that I did not like in this one particular segment. Number one, I liked Jey Uso coming out. If he truly wanted to have this solemn, boys in the hood style, you got one of my guys, I'm going to get one of yours. Don't do the yeet entrance in the first place. Because if you're going to do the yeet entrance and the crowd's like, roll, whatever, play it back, like do it again. Run it back, and you don't give it to them, you've now upset the audience unnecessarily. It was sort of a weird decision. Either he's going to come out there and it's happy joy, and we're having a great old time in front of fans in Paris, or We're not showing up and doing it like that. He's just going to come out and just be like, I want to give you guys what you want, but I got to talk about what happened last night, and I got to set the right tone. So it was neither fish nor foul. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed coming out to confront him was fine, except this notion that Braun Breaker kept saying, well, now that Paul's not here, we're off the leash. You shouldn't be teasing any kind of tension with those guys. Because now it's like, well, now I want to see Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed away from Paul Heyman if I'm a fan watching this show, which is not the feeling you want to have. The LA Knight piece, I continue to talk about how much he sucks in certain ways. And it's not, I genuinely put over how great his match was with Bronson Reed last week in the Braun Breaker, the main event of Raw. He definitely tried very hard in the Fatal 4-Way match. He's not a bad wrestler. Mm-hmm. His promo skills, it feels like it's like a bad old SmackDown video game.
It's like
he's talking.
He's trying to make it catchy. Sometimes it kind of feels like it, but then other times he just misses the mark, and it doesn't feel organic a lot of the times. You know, he feels like, oh, I'm not. He brings on this air of confidence, but he doesn't necessarily feel confident in what he's saying. I don't think.
But beyond that, if I'm using any kind of logic, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker took out Roman Reigns. Mm-hmm. They hurt Jey Uso. Jey Uso goes out there outnumbered and injured. Mm-hmm. Why did Jimmy Uso wait until the end of the show to come out? I genuinely thought, are they turning Jimmy? It's the only way any of that made any sense. Mm-hmm. But they didn't.
No, and
so if he was...
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Robert.
I was going to say, if he was backstage that whole time, then there's no reason he wouldn't have come out in the opening segment with Jay and been like, we're here to get revenge. And I'm not going to let my brother who's injured go out and fight this fight alone because it's going to make me look like a real bitch of a character.
Well, and the other thing too, Robert, Jey Uso comes out there. He calls out the Vision, the entire group, and you know, he's going to be outnumbered. Clearly, as a babyface, it's not very a smart move. Like, and to your point, if you're coming out yeeting and all that stuff, why not instead not do that, like you said, but also come out with a weapon and make sure you mean business, that you're like, hey, I want these guys to come out and I'm ready for them. And so a lot of the logic aspect of it was not making sense either.
There just seemed to be a disconnect. And then, you know, Jimmy coming out at the end of the night as opposed to earlier in the night didn't make sense. But when Jimmy Uso did come out, like most guys, he came out dick first.
That's it. You got it.
There it was. Blue Chew isn't just a tablet. It's a cheat code for your crotch. Stronger, harder, longer lasting, like someone gave your downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. Guys, this isn't just about performance. It's about legacy, or third legacy. Euphemism for penis. Give her group chat something to talk about. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. And as always, we've got a special deal for our listeners. Get your first month of Blue Chew free. Just use promo code RUMOR at checkout. Pay $5 shipping. That's it. Join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Head to BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode of Rumor and Innuendo. You don't want your wife saying your husband or my husband is a coward. I just saw the name of the episode you put there. I was trying to tie it back.
Thank you. Yes. We will talk about that segment nearing the end here. Robert, we did have Kabuki Warriors against the Judgment Day. This Kabuki Warriors stuff with Io Sky, I'm not digging it, Robert, but how do you feel about it?
I spent a lot of time this weekend hanging around Matt Riddle. And I'm just going to assume, just by osmosis and contact near him, that is why I thought I was hallucinating these segments. This couldn't have been real.
No.
None of it makes any sense. I don't know if it. This is the fun sweet spot of old school Monday Night Raw. I don't know if it's racist or sexist or just illogical, and that is the sweet spot for when wrestling is at its absolute worst.
That's right.
It's just a lot of shrieking and screaming and writing as if women don't know how to talk.
It's
it makes me think of the Seinfeld thing with when he was confronting Tim Watley for telling Jew jokes. He goes,
yeah,
"Does this offend you as a Jewish person? No, it offends me as a comedian.
as a comedian.
Like this offends me as a you know a former writer. Like, what is this?"
Robert, I don't understand why, if you're going to have them do those segments, I would either A, just have them talk in their own language, but also at the same point, give them a mouthpiece. Give somebody, two of them a mouthpiece, one of them, just something to kind of balance it out a little bit, because this is not engaging to a worldwide audience.
I did anything else happen on Raw?
Those,
Yes,
I mean,
Becky Lynch and CM Punk are going to fight, and it's going to be a hell of a match, and
look,
I'm excited for it.
that I want CM Punk versus Becky Lynch. Like Seth Rollins does not feel like the man of the man of the relationship.
Maybe once again, putting the heat on Riddle. I'm pretty sure at one point in time during this promo, Seth Rollins did come out, right? Like this wasn't like when you're on the Haunted Mansion and you turn to the right and there's like a ghost and you're like, whoa. Because Punk didn't just be like, I'm going to go run and go after that guy. He just stood there and continued to talk to Becky Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
And then he slowly walked away like, Bruce Banner would at the end of an episode of The Hulk. I was waiting for like piano music to play.
Yeah. I was waiting for him to pick up her sunglasses. They were just laying there. And,
yeah, like I'm all for let's build to the return of AJ Lee. Let the crowd continue to chant for it, and like let them feel like they're 5 steps ahead of you. I thought Becky being the one to take all the shots at Punk was fun, and it is a great heel move to like, make your wife fight your battles for you.
Mm-hmm.
Again, as uncomfortably sexist as that is, but here we are.
Are you compelled by Seth versus CM Punk just in general? This is not a feud I'm really digging. I love Becky and Punk. Seth and Punk, not so much, I don't think.
I am, just because they need something to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like you look at the board. They shuttled Sami Zayn off to SmackDown, and I had said it was because of the booking in Clash in Paris. And yeah, you could not have used Sami Zayn in that match. You needed LA Knight to be the goof that he is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think ultimately there is a compelling case to turn LA Knight heel and have LA Knight go after Punk. But if you need a big, I don't even know what the next real show is that we're going to get a Raw World title match. WrestlePalooza is already going to have most likely Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes. It's going to have the Stephanie Vaquer match against Io Sky to determine who the new Raw Women's Champion is. We're going to probably get John Cena and Brock Lesnar. I don't know that you need a Seth Rollins match on WrestlePalooza. And then after that, you're looking at what, SummerSlam? Or SummerSlam Survivor Series? And Survivor Series probably going to be War Games.
Bad Blood, right? I think Bad Blood would be next.
Is Bad Blood an NXT show or WWE show?
WWE, because remember, was it last year The Rock showed up? Or the Goldberg thing, the Goldberg-Gunther thing?
They all blend
also,
together.
I don't know if you saw this too, but apparently somewhere they're promoting Halloween Havoc, and the NXT logo is not on it, but the WWE logo.
So we're getting weirdly over conspiratorial.
Yes.
So this says NXT No Mercy, and then Halloween Havoc is listed as NXT Halloween Havoc on the Wikipedia, which is never on. There is a Saturday night's main event in November in Salt Lake City, and then War Games. Yeah, I was right. Okay. So short of doing Seth and Punk at Saturday night's main event, it's like you're not going to be able to build a Seth Rollins and LA Knight. You're definitely not going to be able to do a Seth Rollins Jey Uso match because the money is in returning Roman Reigns and Jey Uso and probably Punk and LA Knight, and I had said John Cena uniting against the three-headed monster of the the vision,
Mhm.
and then probably throwing in Brock Lesnar and Logan Paul.
Yeah, yeah. Whew. It'll be interesting, but I gotta say, I think they're just kind of treading water a lot of ways in build to what they're doing on Raw and what they're doing on SmackDown in some forms of
Well,
that.
this is in their defense. This is the time of year where they tread water.
Mm-hmm.
Early September, late August, especially coming off of Labor Day weekend, like it's usually why they go to Europe. They know like, hey, we're going to be able to draw crowds and do some kind of fun stuff there. It's the end of summer for people. People are still going away on vacation. When you look at the numbers at the box office this weekend, like nobody was showing up to the movie theaters. The one place they were showing up was BRCW Summer Smash, which was a clean sellout.
Oh, how about that?
Just putting that out there for you, for
Yes.
you
Hey,
folks.
from how you're saying, it was well written, and
whoa, that's what kind of word are we using there? This was a straight up athletic competition, nine matches. But new BRCW world champion Steve Macklin beating Ricky Morton is that damn scumbag Kerry turned on his own father.
What
a reprehensible little rapscallion. Can't wait to see someone get his hands on that kid. Can't wait for you guys to get your hands on some of the Justin Barrasso insights we'll have for you tomorrow. Guys, it's already Wednesday tomorrow. Like this week is just flying by. But Dominic and I will be here every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms, including WW_Creative_ISH X account, the at Dominic D'Angelo X account, the at SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on Rumor and Innuendo and ad-free shows. So on behalf of the man who for some reason is dressed like David Foster Wallace, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpolis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Surely, Robert, you're infinite jesting.